The iPhone 18 Pro has a camera feature that no iPhone has ever shipped with. Not a software trick, not a new sensor size, an actual physical mechanical change into how light enters the lens. I'll tell you exactly what that means for your photos in a minute. But there are 11 other things coming with this phone in September 2026. And one of them is either going to make you upgrade immediately or convince you to skip this year entirely. Let me show you which one. The iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max are expected in the first half of September 2026, 2 months away. And at this point, the leaks, the regulatory filings, the supply chain sources, they are all pointing in the same direction. 12 confirmed upgrades. I have gone through all of it. And I want to be honest with you. Most of these are genuinely exciting. Two of them are real step changes, and one of them is a downgrade dressed up as a feature. We will get to that. But let's start with the camera, because that is where this phone actually earns its price tag. Every iPhone camera you have ever owned has had a fixed aperture. That means the opening that lets light into the lens, it does not move. It is locked at one position always. The iPhone 18 Pro is changing that. For the first time in iPhone history, the main 48 megapixel Fusion camera will have a variable aperture. What does that actually mean in low light? The darker restaurant, night event, dimly lit venue, you open the aperture wider, more light in, better photo. In bright daylight, the beach, direct sun, high contrast scenes, you close it down, less blown out sky, more controlled depth. And here's the part nobody is fully explaining. Variable aperture also lets you control depth of field in a way that software portrait mode cannot fake. Real optical blur, not computational guessing. It also means you can turn light sources into starburst effects, streetlights, candles, the sun at the edge of a building, that starburst look photographers chase. This phone can do it natively. Now, to be fair, Samsung had variable aperture on the Galaxy S9 and S10, then they removed it. Huawei kept it. Most Android makers tried it and walked away. Apple is entering this feature with 6 years of watching everyone else get it wrong. That is either a very good sign or Apple's marketing team working overtime. We will find out in September. The display on the iPhone 18 Pro is getting 2 upgrades, and one of them is bigger than people are giving it credit for. First, LTPO Plus. The current Pro models already use LTPO technology. That is what powers always on and promotion. The adaptive refresh rate that drops all the way to 1 hertz to save battery. LTPO Plus goes further. It extends oxide technology to the driving transistors inside the panel, giving the display finer control over exactly how much power each pixel draws at any moment. The results? Less screen flickering in low light environments and meaningfully better power efficiency. Your phone gets smarter about when to use energy and when to stop. Second, the dynamic island is getting smaller, about 35% smaller than what iPhone 17 Pro has. Apple is reportedly moving the Face ID flood illuminator under the screen, less hardware poking through the display, more usable screen space, and honestly, this should have happened 2 years ago. The dynamic island launched in 2022. The physical cutout has not changed once since then. 4 years, same hole. 35% smaller is a good step, but let's not call it revolutionary. It is Apple catching up to where the display should already be. That said, iOS 27 is apparently already hinting at the smaller size through Siri's new design. So the software is ready. The hardware is finally following. The A20 Pro chip moves to TSMC's 2 nanometer process. iPhone 17 Pro was 3 nanometer. In practice, better performance, yes, but more importantly, better efficiency. The chip does more while burning less power. Combined with the larger batteries we are about to get to, this phone should last noticeably longer than the 17 Pro on a single charge. The C2 modem, Apple's third generation custom cellular chip, is also confirmed for the Pro models. And here's where it gets interesting. The C2 supports 5G via satellite, web browsing without Wi-Fi, without cellular towers. Now, one thing worth flagging, reports suggest the C2 modem may not make it into US models due to regional chip differences. If you are watching from outside the US, this could be a significant deal. If you are in the US, we are waiting on final confirmation. Also confirmed, an N2 chip replacing the N1 found in most iPhone 17 models. The N1 already enabled Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, and Thread. What the N2 brings beyond that, we do not know yet, but Apple does not rev chip numbers without something to show for it. Battery, the iPhone 18 Pro, the 4,288 milliamp hours, the iPhone 18 Pro Max, 5,567 milliamp hours. That Pro Max number is nearly 10% larger than the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Combine that with the A20 chip efficiency gains and the LTPO Plus display doing less unnecessary work, the iPhone 18 Pro Max could be the longest lasting Pro iPhone Apple has ever made. Now, the trade-off. The Pro Max is going to be thicker than the 17 Pro Max, thicker than the 18 Pro, and honestly, that is the right call. Millimeter arguments have never once extended my battery life. Moving on, colors, dark cherry, light blue, dark gray, silver, cosmic orange, and deep blue, discontinued. And the rear ceramic shield MagSafe area is getting a frosted, more seamless finish. No more two-tone look, cleaner. That one I am genuinely happy about. Now, the thing Apple got wrong. The camera control button is being simplified. Touch sensitivity removed, haptic feedback removed, pressure sensitivity only. The original camera control launched with swipe gestures, touch zones, and haptic feedback 2 generations in. Apple is removing features from it. That is not a simplification, that is an admission. It did not work the way they hoped. And instead of fixing it, they stripped it down. To be fair, most people rarely use those features. But pulling them out this early in the button's lifespan says something. I will be watching how Apple markets this at the September event, because the spin on that one is going to be creative. So, should you upgrade if you are on an iPhone 15 Pro or older? Yes, the variable aperture alone is a meaningful jump. Pair it with the A20 chip, larger battery, and the smaller dynamic island. This is a real generational move. If you are on an iPhone 17 Pro, harder call. The camera is genuinely new, but the overall design is essentially the same phone. And unless the real-world battery gains are dramatic, and we will not know that until hands-on testing, the case for upgrading is thinner. If you are choosing between the 18 Pro and the 18 Pro Max, the Max gets the bigger battery, the thicker build, and on paper, the better endurance. If battery life is your priority, the answer is clear. The one thing I am watching between now and September, real variable aperture performance, because Samsung had this feature and eventually killed it. Apple needs to prove they have done it better. And knowing Apple, they probably waited until they could. I will be reviewing this the moment it is in my hands. Camera tests, battery runs, real conditions. If you want to know how the variable aperture actually performs in a dark restaurant versus direct sunlight versus a night shoot, that test is coming. And I have a feeling the results are going to surprise a few people.